When I first started sewing, I jumped in and did quite a few what I would consider now challenging patterns. I'd like to redo those. Let's have a look at those 5 patterns and see what fabric pairing I'm considering. Hi everyone, I'm Caroline. Let me tell you about what I'm wearing right off the bat. If you've seen my previous videos, you know New Look 6517 has become one of my favorites. And this was made out of just thrifted fabric. I made some pants as well. Just this little crop top right here, and I just find this color goes with so many things. Really like it. Okay, have you ever remade something that you made at the beginning of your sewing journey or many years ago when maybe you weren't as proficient or experienced as you are now? How did that hold up? How did it change? Did you think you did an okay job to begin with? Let's look at pattern number 1. Tilly and the Buttons, the Nell blouse. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, I want to make that. And so I ordered it, and I think I ordered it all the way from England to the package, even though it's probably available in some stores locally. But anyways, I was excited about it. And it's such a great pattern. I made the blouse, and the dress I'd like to make as well at some point too. And it's got quite a few sleeve options. This is so cute, but it's really not my cup of tea so much with the tie fronts and the big sleeves. What I'd like to do is make the shirt, again, the straight shirt without the peplum, button down with just normal sleeves. So let me show you my first 2 makes. I've been sewing for about 8 months now, and one of the things that really was a big challenge and still is was sizing and fitting and all of that. I'm really glad though that I did start with, I think this was my 3rd pattern after a couple of not so good big 4 patterns. So when I got to this one, it was so great because, I mean, it's got a button placket, you know. I mean, that's not an easy thing for a brand new beginner, but I figured out how my machine worked and everything. But it was too big, and I realized that as soon as I made it. And it was too big as soon as I made it. I made size 7, which is a 44-inch bust and 45-inch hips. The waist really doesn't matter because it just is wide enough. But actually, I'm a 42-inch bust and 43. So the next one I made, which I'll show you in a sec, I did size down. This was thrifted fabric, and it actually turned out gorgeous. I thought I did an okay job for it being my only 3rd garment ever. I'm not sure what I can do with it. I probably will just hang on to it. Just as a reminder, you know, of my real first win in the beginning. But I definitely can't wear it, and I really don't want to deconstruct it. Now I made another one right after, and I made it in the size 6, and this one definitely fit better, and here's some pictures to see. But again, I used this thrifted linen blend or polyester. I have no idea actually. At the time I thought it was linen, but it's definitely not linen. And it turned out just as well and fit me much better, but it's very stiff. And so I find the peplum a bit much. So this is why I'd like to do exactly the same blouse as far as the sleeves and it being a shirt, but I'm going to do the straight version, the straight shirt version, and just eliminate the peplum completely and see how that turns out. Again, I think I'll do it in size 6. And I've got this fabric. Now this fabric was in the bargain clearance area from Fabricland, and it's unknown fibers, so it's most likely just polyester, but I really like the pattern on it, and I love the pink. The pink and white is very pretty, and it's very flowy. So I think it'll look really pretty, and I think it's something I can wear into the fall and even further with you know, a white cardigan, a white sweater over top of it. So we'll see, because watched any of my videos, you know what I'm like about planning and about changing my mind when it comes to fabric and patterns for all that. But I thought that might be a really good option. So on to pattern number 2. Now this next pattern I kind of considered a real fail, and being somewhat quite a bit inexperienced, I really blamed the pattern. But it wasn't the pattern. I thought, I really don't want to ever make this again, but I really wanted to find a dress with a square neck. I love a square neck on me. For some reason, it just suits me really well. And I really had a hard time with all the patterns that I have, and I've got a lot of patterns. I'm just going through them, inventorying them, and I have a lot. I don't want to buy another one. So I thought, well, maybe I can use the Protea top and hack it into a dress. More on that in future videos. But I went back to the Protea. It's Megan Nielsen Protea blouse, and actually top and skirt as well. I'm really not keen on the skirt so much. I mean, the skirt is fine, but there's lots of patterns out there that are like it. It's really the square neck top that I really like. And I was Googling away, and I discovered this whole area in the pattern that I'd never noticed before, called hacks for Protea. And there are a lot. I've got 2 of them here. First of all, I'll show you the peplins and frills. So this is right up my alley. So cute with the square neck or the scoop neck. So many options. But the one that really caught my eye was the simple shifts. And how these hacks were exactly what I was looking for. Square neck, but made into just a straight shift dress, I guess you'd call it. Not so much straight down. That's what I wanted to do. So that's my plan, is to make square neck Protea top, but into a dress. There are a whole bunch of other hacks too, and I'll quickly show them here for just sleeves and pockets, a few others. This is a capsule wardrobe pattern, and I just was blown away by the options when I found these hacks. I hadn't looked far enough for them. So I'm really excited about that. So let me show you my 2 failish makes. Here's the first one. I made a top, and the fabric choice is terrible, to be honest with you. It's just quilting cotton. There's a picture of me in it, but it's too big. And one of the things that I have found with square necklines and scoop necklines, probably necklines period, is I get gaping on them. And as you get older, you know, everything shifts downwards, including your chest, and it becomes somewhat concave. So I didn't know that at the time. So I definitely will need to adjust for that. But the fabric choice, it was great, because I did so many out of thrifted fabric and that, just to see how it came out. And actually it came out very well. Again, as quite the beginner in that, I was very happy with my square neck and how it turned out. So yeah, it wasn't bad, but I definitely, it's too big. It was too big when I made it as well, and this is where I'm just getting used to sizing. So I definitely will make a 14 next time and make sure that I adjust to make this narrower. But let's look at the second one, and this is the one that really kind of put me off the pattern completely. Not the pattern's fault, that's for darn sure. It's really taught me a lesson about fabric choice. So I made this dress. it's kind of been folded up, and so it's a bit wrinkly and looks quite uncared for. This fabric is just a duvet, and it's too heavy in my opinion for this pattern. You can see that there's drawing down here in the corners, although maybe that was something to do with me not doing that correctly. But here's a picture of me in it. I just don't, I thought I don't like that look at all. And I was going to do Seamworks Benning dress, but it's got kind of a similar look, not the square neckline, but the gathering, the prairie girl kind of look. And it kind of put me off that kind of style of dress now. So I'm sort of hemming and hawing over it because I've got quite a few patterns with that sort of prairie girl look. But I think I need to try it again. I need to really, well, I haven't made the Seamwork Benning one yet. It has a V-neck, so I think that would be better, but I still don't know if that look is for me. I need to make up a proper one in the right fabric and then go from there instead of just taking it all from here. But anyway, so yeah, I just didn't like the look of it. So I'm going to do the Protea top made into just a straight line dress, and I'll show you the fabric. And actually I've started to cut it out, so this is just a piece of it. This beautiful teal. Now this is linen look, but again, this was in the bargain area of the Fabricland, which is a national chain here in Canada. And I think same with the pink one that I showed for the Nell blouse. I think they're like about $6 a meter, which is pretty darn decent. I mean, you can make a dress for 12 bucks, right? I love this teal fabric. It's definitely not going to be cool. I know when I was cutting it, it sort of got that typical fraying that you see in polyester, but it sure is a beautiful color, and it does have the linen look. So it may not be something I wear on a hot day, but I think it'll look really pretty in that, so I'm really excited. So yeah, that's the Megan Nielsen Protea blouse/dress. And check out all those hacks, because it is good value for your money for a pattern. Okay, on to pattern number 3. Pattern number 3 is Love Notion's lyric dress. I really fell in love with this as soon as I saw it. It's got so many great options too, and I want to make it again. And it came up beautifully. I had to make the dress wider, but other than that, it just fit so darn well. And the sizing that I used was a 12. Now both of these are bedding duvets, and I just find I don't reach for them. They were great trials, but because of the fabric, it's kind of dingy, and it's okay. But you know, I want to make something nice out of some nice fabric now. And boy, this pattern was just so good. It's not unsimilar to the Nell dress in a way, except it doesn't have the gathering. So that would be the big difference. But yeah, I want to make the dress. And one of the things I wanted to say about a lot of my planning here is I really want things that I feel comfortable in day to day. And I will put on in there, I don't feel overdressed. And I know a lot of people say, just wear it. And I agree with that, but I want to plan for that. If a dress is a bit too much, you know, I feel awkward. I think I've always been like that. And so I want to make dresses that look nice at a nice fabric, but that I can put on and go out to the grocery store or whatever and feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I guess I'm talking about more category number 3 rather than category number 4, which is dressed up. You can go back to my previous videos about my thoughts on categorizing your wardrobe. As a quick recap, one is all the clothes for all the grungy jobs around the house that you don't care if they get stained or torn or whatever. Number 2 is just at home all day. You're not going to see anybody. You want to be super comfortable. Number 3 is elevated a bit more, where you are possibly going out. So maybe you'll change into it and you're going to run errands or going to a farm market or something like that. It's not too overdressed. You feel quite comfortable in it. And that's what I'm trying to get with most of these, a lot of these. 4 is that step up where you're wearing jewelry, maybe you've done your hair, you're going out for dinner somewhere, that kind of thing. And 5 is occasion wear. That doesn't happen for most of us very often, maybe a few times a year. So category 3 is sort of my sweet spot for going out. So the fabric that I have chosen for this, and honestly, I didn't have, there is a sew along, but I did not have any challenges making this at all. I really didn't with the Nell dress either. I think there's a sew along for that. That's such a nice thing for a beginner sewist, is just to be able to make it. I put white binding in here. I wouldn't do that again, but you know, it just was what it was. So recent thrifting find was this beautiful, I don't know if I'd call it navy blue. And please, if you have any comments on any of these fabrics that I've chosen, let me know, because I'm still learning so much about fabrics and what works with each one and whether it should be flowy, that kind of thing. And I really need help in that area. But this, I would think this is a cotton poplin. It's kind of got that sheen to it. This beautiful navy-ish blue. It's not really in my color palette, but who cares? So I think it'll be a nice transition dress from summer into fall as well. Like I say, I want to make the full dress on it, not just the blouse. And there is 4 meters here. It's only 44 inches wide, so I'm going to have to be careful and see. I would think, you know, if I put it out full, I probably can't cut it on the fold. We'll see. But it's a beautiful, it looks like cotton poplin. Very nice. Let me tell you what it cost. For 4 meters, it cost $14. So, you know, that's not bad. What does that work out to? $3.50 a meter or something like that. So certainly a lot cheaper than you would get, and it looks brand new. So I think that blue will look beautiful in that lyric dress. Okay, on to pattern number 4. So early on in my sewing journey, I bought this book off Amazon. I'm sure it's still available there, the Tunic Bible. And yeah, I really underestimated the difficulty of some of these plackets that are shown on here. And it very minimal instructions, very minimal. And barely anything for everything outside of the placket, because everything outside of the placket is very straightforward. There's some sleeve options in that, but so I made it twice, and the one I made was the outside facing wide split placket. Probably one of the most difficult ones you can do. I struggled with this so bad, and I Googled and Googled and Googled. Unfortunately, there's no specific sew along for it on YouTube that I could find for this specific placket. The Mandarin collar was extremely challenging, and I just ended up shoving it in there and hand sewing it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I can't even remember which one I made first. I think I made this one first, which actually turned out better than the second one as far as the neck is concerned. But you can see that I had some challenges here. It's not bad. You've got to be very careful the placket's centered, and this actually isn't centered right on, but I did fix that in the next one. Yeah, it is challenging, and but like I say, I'm the kind of person that just dives right in. So I learned a lot. I want to do it again, but not this placket. I think I'm a bit traumatized from it, to be honest with you. This is just a thrifted bed sheet. I like the look of it, but I don't find I wear it too much. Maybe because it's summer more than anything. The second one, I feel I just don't, the collar's not good. I didn't do the collar very well. I love the contrast though. This is, it looks like I've got makeup on there, I think. This is just a pillowcase and this is just a bed sheet. So I'm very glad I practiced on these kind of fabrics. But I, again, really struggled with the collar. And you can see that this one ended up being way wider than this one. So, oh well, I learned a lot. But what I'm going to try this time around is I'm going to try a completely different one. And that is the outside facing elongated placket. The reason I'm going to try this one is it looks like it just has binding around the top. It doesn't have the full mandarin collar. And I found the placket part of it very straightforward. I didn't have any problem with that once I understood what was happening. That basically you do it inside and then flip it out and then top stitch it down. Let me show you a full length of this because I'd like to do it in the dress. I'll put a picture up, but here it is here in a beautiful fabric, beautiful multicolored fabric. This brings up something about dresses that I find that often if they're in a colorful fabric like this, not always the case, but they often can have a dressier look depending on the fabric and whether it's got a print on it. Whereas I'm finding if it's a solid color, especially more in the neutrals or pastel, you can dress it down or dress it up quite a bit, which I love because then it's got more use. So let me show you the fabrics that I'm thinking of. And again, please chime in. This for the base and this for the placket, or the other way around. What do you think? Or do you think maybe it would be better if I did it in maybe a pale pink like this? Maybe that would be better than the dark pink? Let me know. This is from Fabricland. It is a rayon linen blend, and I've made other items with it, and I absolutely adore this fabric. It's really nice in the summer, but it's got a bit of weight to it. So it's not as light as rayon. So depending on what you're making, you want to consider that, but I just love the fabric. I love rayon linen blend. So let me know what you think about that. Let's move on to pattern number 5. Pattern number 5 is a Style Arc Zelia dress. And this pattern was a gift from my son and daughter-in-law for my birthday. And I just love the dress. I love the dress with the beautiful dropped sleeves. This was just a duvet, and it's fabulous. And once I got the neck, I did have some trouble with the neck. But I've kind of copied this design feature of stitching down the middle. I actually did it on this little top too, because it really helps if you don't have a lot of fabric. You don't have to cut it on the fold if you're making something else like out of scrap fabric and that. So, and I think it turned out beautifully. I really have no complaints with it whatsoever, other than I feel very overdressed. I feel this is category number 4. This is a dressy occasion. And I know other people have said, oh, just wear it. But I just don't feel comfortable just wearing this out as category number 3. You know, a little bit dressed better. But yeah, so I definitely would wear it, but it's got to be more of a dressy occasion. And the same can be said for this version. Now this again is rayon linen blend from Fabricland, and it's possible that this fabric may be a bit heavy for it. I had a little bit of trouble around the neckline here and with the big wide band on the bottom. The facing kind of puckered up a bit, and I just had some problems with it. So I don't know if it's the weight of the fabric for it or whether it's the operator error. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm kind of wondering whether I should use a bit of a lighter fabric, you know, pure linen or something like that. But I love the pattern, but I want to make it in a solid, and that's what the pattern shows actually, is in a solid. I feel it would be something that I would use more often. So yeah, let me show you the fabric that I'm thinking of for that. The fabric that I'm thinking of is this peach. I think it is a cotton lawn, and I'm just not sure. Again, it was from Fabricland. I really try and mark down what I've bought now. But it's right in my color palette, the peachy, and I feel like it's plain enough. It's not really a solid, but it's plain enough that that Zelia dress will look nice in it without it being too dressy. Am I the only one with this problem? I don't know. But that's what I'm trying to go for, is just making dresses that really kind of, I can just put on and not feel, oh my goodness, everybody's going to ask where I'm going. So yeah, I think that would look quite nice in it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that Zelia dress. And, you know, I could maybe make the scooped version, but I do love this V-neck, I have to admit. I think it looks nice on me. It's not too low. I'll have to think about that, but I probably will go for the V-neck dress option. Love these sleeves. I like, this is the shorter version of the sleeves, but they just look so nice. And again, you can just dress this up with some jewelry, scarf, a little jacket. You really can go quite far with it, or just wear it on its own with flat little sandals or whatever, and it can look more casual. So that's where I'm gearing for. So let me know what your thoughts are on these 5 patterns that I'd like to redo. And I know many people have done the Zelia dress, the Lyric dress, and many of the other ones that I have here. Tilly and the Buttons Nell dress, I know that's a very popular one. The Protea blouse, I haven't seen, the Megan Nielsen Protea, haven't seen a huge amount of. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 other YouTubers make something from the Tunic Bible, maybe because of the difficulty of and lack of the instructions, but I do like the concept that you can, just with a basic tunic pattern, you can, just by changing the placket and the sleeves and the fabric, you have a completely different looking garment. And this is what I like so much about the Megan Nielsen Protea as well. Is I could make a whole wardrobe out of all the different hacks that they have for that. Something else that I really want to do once a month is do a more challenging pattern, because I love style arc patterns. And I have a lot of them. I bought a lot of them in the beginning. And then I kept hearing the buzz about how difficult they were, so it kind of put me off. But then I did the Zelia blouse, and I was like, this isn't bad. And it is, what is the difficulty level? It's medium on it. It's medium difficult. The next one I'm going to try, which I believe is beginner medium, might be medium, is the Monty dress. So I'd like to try and do a more difficult pattern once a month. And my version of more difficult would be specifically right now, Style Arc and Burda. I don't have a lot of Burda patterns, but I have a few. And with all these sales of patterns that have been happening at Fabricland, because they're not going to be carrying them anymore, I've picked up a few Burda patterns. And so I'd like to try that. I have lots of Burda patterns in the Burda Style magazine, but I did open it up once and started to try and trace it, and I was not, it was hard. It was hard. And then without the seam allowances, I was like, oh my goodness, I already have so many patterns. Why am I putting myself through this? So I don't know. That's sort of a next level up. And Vogue is another option as well. I see some YouTubers making Vogue, and I'm sure that probably many viewers have, and it's just something to get used to. I'm curious as to why Vogue is considered more difficult. Is it because it's more couture or less instructions, or what is it? Let me know. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video about the 5 patterns that I'd like to remake, and my sewing speed has increased a lot from 8 months ago. So I find myself, oh, I made all those plans and hardly did any of them. But I am getting through things now. I'm finding I'm able to make 1, sometimes 2 garments a week, if not more, and they're actually something that I will wear. And I'm repeating patterns like this one here. I've repeated it a few times and gets to the point where you barely even have to look at the instructions for something as simple as this, or I can start hacking a little bit too, you know, like this down the middle, this design feature down the middle. So yeah, let me know what you think. So glad you joined me today. Happy sewing, and see you next time. Bye-bye.